Walk with me.
Through desire, a man having separated himself seeketh and intermeddleth with all wisdom. A fool has no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. When the wicked cometh, then cometh content, but with ignominy reproach. The words of a man's mouth are as deep waters, and the wellspring of wisdom as a flowing brook. It is not good to set the persons of the wicked, to overthrow the righteous in judgment. A fool's lips enter in contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. The words of a talebearer are as wounds. They go down into the innermost parts of the belly. He also that is slothful in his work is brother of him that is a great waster. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as a high wall in his own conceit. Before destruction, the heart of the man is haughty. Before honor is humility. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. A man's gift make room for him, and bringeth him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. The lot causes contentions to cease, and parteth between the mighty. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Whosoever findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the I am. The poor uses entreaties, but the rich answers roughly. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Proverbs chapter 18. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. All right. We thank God for you, and we thank God for his mercy. Yes, there's nothing else but just mercy, because he has not punished us, chastised us after our iniquities. Yes, we thank God, even so, that we come out of our iniquity is why he chastises us. And we thank God for what's going on in the world. Yes, people are dying, people are going different ways, but why? You ask God why, but yet you never seem to bother to read this book. Your sins have separated you from your God. Your transgression from the Most High has separated you from him, even the children of Jacob. The world has their sentence. If they come out by any chance, all praises to the Most High. But Jacob, you're separated from the I am, your God. Yes, we're in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4. Chapter 4 of Nehemiah. We skipped over chapter 3, but we will reiterate that a little bit later. But nevertheless, as you prepare Nehemiah chapter 4, yes, God is always with us, and he's making ways for us. You know, if you really please God, if your ways please the Most High, he will jump over mountains for you, so to speak. He will move the heathen out of your way just to hear your praise and your call. Just to pick of the fruit of righteousness that come from you from obedience to the law, statutes, and his commandments and ordinances. Yes. Oh, God loves righteousness. He loves, just like a father loves when a son is obedient, and a mother is pleased when a son shuns foolishness. Oh, glory to the Most High. Do you know and understand God? Many of you judge God in many ways. You condemn God in many ways, yet you don't know nor understanding, because you do not seek to know him. You seek to know about him. Now we're in the 4th chapter of Nehemiah. 4th chapter of Nehemiah. And it reads, "And it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation and mocked the Jews," or Judeans. "And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria, and said, What does these feeble Judeans, even they, fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive stones out of the heap of the rubbish which are burned?" But yet we noticed that they were steadily building. They wouldn't pay in their surroundings any mind, but they were steadily building. Each one had his section that he had to build, even from the gate of where the dung comes through. Yes, everybody wanted to build that great city of David and that temple which it contained. Yes, and now Tobiah, the Ammonite. These were Ammonites. These were Hamites. Not that they were Africans. Everybody was born in Africa, but they were Hamites by bloodline and seed line. So you have a seed line. The seed line, or the Y DNA, comes from the male and passed to the male. But you know, many miss it about mitochondria. Mitochondria is passed from female to female. It's not passed from female to male. No, you got all that wrong. I think you need to go back and pay that some more attention. Because you have some of these that are feminists, and they want to make themselves out of goddesses. You're nothing. And when you come to that realization, you will be something. But Tobiah the Ammonite was by him, and he said, "Even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall." In other words, he's just mocking. He's mocking. He's just going at them. Now in verse 4, he says, "Hear, O God." This is Nehemiah. "For we are despised." Have your enemy or your neighbor despise you because you're doing something? Because basically they're jealous. They're jealous, and they don't want you to rise above them or look better than them. This is why they do this. This is a part of covetousness. They're coveting that they're desiring that you do not succeed because it makes them look bad. Covetousness means desire of things that are not yours. So to speak, yes. And he says now, "Give them, for they pray in the land of captivity. And cover not their iniquity, and let their sin be blotted out. And let not their sin be blotted out from before thee. For they have provoked thee to anger before the builders." These people, they didn't know they had, the evil spirits have sway over the thoughts of their hearts, and they did not know this. They did not know who was right. They knew of God and what he has done in the past for the children of Israel, but they chose to ignore this thing. So in verse 6, "He built the wall, and the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work." Isn't that something? That's just like Burkina Faso. You have the Sanballat and Tobias where they want to rebuild and build their country up. They want the roads paved, and people mock, and they say, "Well, where you get the money from?" And all this, the same Sanballat and Tobias all throughout the world. all throughout the West that just instead of helping, instead of cheering them on, they criticize and they try to hinder because it makes them look bad, and even the leaders of Africa and even those of Western countries. It makes them look bad because of what? They do not care for the people, and that government cares for its people. That is where it comes from. Yes, they love themselves over their people, and they don't care, even to the point where some even shed the blood of their own youth, if you know what I'm talking about. So built we the wall, and the wall was joined together. The half thereof of the people had a mind to work. Yes, even they're working for a mind for free. A mind to work. A mind to clean up your neighborhood. A mind to clean up your streets. A mind to help build a broken down screen door and school those who don't care even about the way the neighborhood looks, to school them and how that they help you and how they help the neighborhood look presentable. The children not to throw trash all over the place. Having a mind to work. Yes, and to build up and be proud of what you have. Might not be much, but to be proud of your village, your little street, your neighborhood, the apartment buildings that you might be in, picking up all the trash and throwing them in the dumpster. And if the dumpster full, start packing them in packages real neat. Yes. In verse 7, but it came to pass when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, that the breaches began to be stopped, and they were very wroth. In other words, now you have in the Sahel where the breaches are beginning to be stopped, where the insurgents and those who come in try to topple the government and make the people fear through their hideousness, their murders and their deceits, making the people run and howl. But now, look what God is doing. The people standing up. Yes, the people are standing up, saying, hey, you come here, you might get deleted, buddy. And you have known that it is dying down. It's dying down. Eventually they will have defeated those people who are paid by Western nations, the Sanballat and Tobiases. Yes. To stop, because you're doing nothing but making these countries rich. Because the money that they confiscate, they're going to take it and put it into their infrastructure. Dummy! But either way. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. How God take the evil that you do and mean it for good. Ain't that something? And the Arabians and Ammonites and Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up and the breaches began to be stopped when they were very wroth. And the same thing can happen in your neighborhood. You build it up. You got these little young boys or old men turn around whiskey bottles, wine bottles. Somebody need to go somewhere and begin to take them to the side and teach them a lesson. Talk to them a little good, if you get my drift. Because some of them don't hear nothing but a good talking to. And maybe even to the point where you harass them until they get out of your neighborhood because they are not getting with the program. Not that you should be an HOA, but you need to keep your property or where you live at into a presentable manner. Yes, that should be. Now, and they heard that the walls, I'm in verse 7, of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, and then they were mad. So they the same way the Western nations are toward these nations that are being built up in Africa. Not like some of the nations who hate their people. I don't know how these leaders got into office, but the fact is, they don't care about deleting their own people. This is bad. Then you got people, governments that sit up there and hire people that have no good mind toward the people. They just want people that look like them. So they work this in deceitful ways. Oh, you must be careful. You must be careful, because these things can be something. So in verse 8, and conspired all of them together to come to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. In other words, here they go. This is nothing new that is happening to the Sahel. Nothing new. Nevertheless, we made our prayer to God and set a watch against them day and night because of them. This is happening in the Sahel. This is nothing new is under the sun. Nothing new. And Judah said, the strength of the bearers is burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. In other words, a lot of garbage, a lot of stuff. I mean, broken stones. The same thing was there in the Sahel, even Burkina Faso, as I understand. Rubbish, and then they decide, oh, we need garbage trucks. Oh, praises to the Most High. Yes, got garbage trucks. And then after a while, they started getting something to cycle the rubbish. Plastics, rubber, anything that can be recycled. They take the pile of rubbish and recycle it. And what you got? Prosperity. Yes. Bricks, street bricks, wall bricks. I mean, so many things. Even the rubbish that comes from bananas and some other things that they have in the Sahel, that they're refurbishing, they're recycling it. Yes. So that we cannot be able to build the walls. And our adversary said, they shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them and slay them and cause the work to cease. This is what they're doing. I'm not just preaching on the Sahel, but this is a good example. They're a good example of what happened then. They wanted to come in there. Yes. So they did, but who stopped them? God did it. God did it. God did. Yes. Yes, some people had to die. But more of them died more than the people that died. All praises to the Most High. Now, therefore, I said in the power of places behind the walls, in the lower places behind the walls, and on the higher places, even I set the people after their families with their swords and their spears and their bows. Oh, yes. Apparently, maybe Abraham and his cabinet members read this. How that they took the people and armed the people and set them in strategic places, even in their villages, and armed them and helped them to understand how warfare operates. Oh my God, yes, this is good. See, we're talking real life here. We ain't talking no religious garbage, because it's garbage. Real life. Whereas you have in certain countries, real life is like a fairy tale. Because the only people that experience real life is those that are in charge. The rest of you have to pay homage to them. But not so when you turn to the Most High Eve and His laws, commandments, statutes, commandments. They are the way, the truth, and the life we should live. There is no man can come to God except for he come through the law. Not no Jesus, not no Muhammad, not no other person, but through the law. They all practice the law to a certain extent, but not according to as Moses has prescribed, according to their own what seemeth right unto them. Even God says they're the way of death. God has no one beside him. God doesn't copulate with his creation. There is no sons of God. There are spirits. God is the creator. He creates. He has no wife where he should even. He says his wife, what is it? He uses it as a metaphor. The people that obey the law is his wife. Yes. Now he says now, and I look in verse 14, and rose up and said to the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not afraid of them. Remember the I am, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren and your sons and your daughters and your wives and your houses. Why did he do this? Fight for your neighborhoods. Remove all those things out. Make it look presentable. When they start coming for gentrification, there's nothing wrong with our neighborhood because they will use every trick in the book. Eminent domain. They've used every trick in the book to steal your land and your way of life. Every trick in the book. Evil are these people. Ogres or oligarchs are they. And they employ even those who are trying to be like them. Now, he says, your sons, your daughters, your wives. He said, defend this place. And it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known to us, and God had brought their counsel to nothing, that we returned all of us to the wall and everyone to his work. God did his thing. When you call on God before you go to war, when you go call to God before you defend your neighborhood or your city, when you call on God when you defend your home, knowing that this evil is set towards you, God will deliver. Yes, he will. Not through no Jesus, just by you doing what he's told you to do. For the law of the I am is pure, making wise the simple. More desired the day than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Even sweeter is his law than the honeycomb. Oh, come on here. You got to learn something. He says now, they which builded the wall, they bear their burdens with who laid it. Every one of his own hands wrought in work, with the other hand held a weapon. In other words, while one hand's working, the other one held a pistol, a shotgun, or should I say AK, or whatever have you. Ready. Say, come on here, we're going to build. If we got to sit up here and build and fight at the same time, we're going to do this thing. We're going to keep our neighborhood clean where we have to put you out, put you through, or put you off. We're going to keep our streets swept and done. And in front of our grass is going to be cut. Yes. Or we're going to get you out of here. You know, sometimes laws they help more of the degenerate people, or should I say people whose mind is to ruin, than they do those who are trying to do what is right and what is good. It does. I've seen it too many times. You'll walk in a neighborhood, you'll see one house where the person has trash like a junkyard strewed all over the place. Not that it should be like an HOA or nothing like that, but enough pride to say, this is my home and I will keep it presentable. But then you have those right next door to it. I've seen it too many times. Just everything is just as good as it can get, or they can get it. And it looks good. But then what makes it look bad is this filthy person next to them. These are the people that you need to really deal with, because where that filth is, there is crime. Many times there is crime, or either there is sickness or old age or whatever. Now, if there's sickness, we can help them. Yes, we can. If they're too old, yes, we can give them a hand. Yes, we can. But if they're of age and they can do the job, they need to be put out. They need to get out of there, sell the house, do something, get away from us. You're causing us to look bad. You may not do what I do, you may not believe what I be, but we got one common cause. We have to keep where we are and build it and make it good. Now, verse 18, for the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side, and so builded, and he that sounded the trumpet was by me. In other words, when I see something, hey, there they go. See, this is what happened in Sahel. They see insurgents and people with all kind of armament and motorcycles coming at them. They're instructed to holler. The next thing you know, here come the drones and here come the army. And then they're armed at the same time. Oh, God is good. Yes, yes, yes. You got to arm yourself, not only physically, but mentally too, in this world. Especially in the world that we live in today. You have to arm yourself. And the laws are trying to help you because they know what some groups are about. some people are about. They know this, so they try to help you to arm yourself, to be responsible, that you and your children may live. Now, verse 19, and he said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. In what place therefore ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither to us. Our God shall fight for us. In other words, he stood in confidence. No, God ain't gonna come and build that wall for you. You're gonna build your own wall. You're gonna fight for yourself. But God's gonna ensure that your enemies fall before your sword, your pistol, your rifle, or whatever you got, even your little slingshot or your rock. Yes, he will. These things are real. They ain't no play. So we labored in working. Half of them held spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. Likewise, at the same time, I said to the people, let every one with his servant lodge within Jerusalem. Yes, his servant. That in the night they may be guard to us and labor on the day. So neither I nor my brethren, nor my servants, those he hired. When he says servant, he don't mean slaves. These people were not poor. They were able to pay other people to do things and to attend to them. Nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes, saving that everyone put them off for washing. Yes, you gotta wash the smelly off of you. Yes. And we will stand if we do these things and pay attention to the lessons that are taught in this historical account. Not only will we have great neighborhood cities and states and countries, but also we will also be able to rule our government, in that our officials that are elected will do that which we have elected them for, instead of coming in and thinking that they own us. In every government, your elected officials have to realize you hired them, they didn't hire you. And with that, I want to say peace.
Walk with me.